here today. We are officially at the hour, so I'm going to kick things off. My name is Hannah Olson. I am the Mimeo STEM product manager, and you caught me today here in my 3D printer room. And I'm so excited to show y'all our brand new Robo E4 and Robo E4 Pro. So let me start sharing my screen here. While I'm doing that, I know we get teachers, we get tech directors, we get IT decision makers. We also get a lot of our reseller partners who come to these things. So if you wouldn't mind dropping in the chat what your role is in education, I'd love to sort of customize this to the audience I have today. And if you missed it before we got started, I did ask everyone to change your chat instead of just coming to me as the host to everyone. That way we can have a full conversation there. Okay, I'm seeing lots of couple different things coming in. We've got a resale partner, we've got IT, we have some folks, lots of our resellers. Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. It is great to have you interested in learning more about this product line. And good to see some customers in here as well. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. I am on one computer screen today, so I will be popping in on the chat periodically. I do see a hand up. If there's a way that you can pop that question in the chat, even if that's just me, that would be great. But I will keep the chat up on the side of my screen so I can keep an eye on any questions that come in there while we go. So again, thanks y'all for being here, and let's get started talking about our new products. Okay, so first things first. We are taking a summer break on STEM Wednesdays. So our last STEM Wednesday of the year will be on May 22nd. That's 2 weeks from today. But next year, we are going to be coming back in the fall, starting this up. So we would love if you all could come in and vote for what time works for you for next year. So there's a link on the screen there. It is case sensitive. I've also dropped it in the chat. You can do that now or at the end of the session, but I do want to hear from y'all about what time of day works best for you. And we also have a spot in there that you can put in whatever topics you'd be most interested in learning about, products, content levels, all sorts of things like that. So just quick announcement before I jump in. So, okay, audience questions. Do you have a 3D printer, or have you worked with one in the past? What was it? I know a lot of our resale partners here are probably pretty familiar with our E3 and E3 Pro. So I'll show some comparisons with those as well. And I imagine that we have a lot of folks who have attended. Yes, Erica here saying that she's got 3 of the E3 printers. Hi, Erica. Nice to have you with us. And so, yeah, so great. Another, Kate says an E3. Okay, cool. So I'll definitely highlight some differences between our current models and our new ones as well. All right, Tim's here coming in with a Creality printer. So some other brands out there as well. Great. All right. So I've got a quick video here. It has an exciting sound effect, but I didn't actually share my sound. So cannot play media. Well, fine then. I'm going to stop sharing and just pull up the video directly since my computer decided it didn't want to share that. Sorry for the technical delay here. But this video is going to give you some of the highlights of the new E4 specifically, and then a lot of these things hold true for the E4 Pro as well. All right, so I'm going to start sharing my screen one more time, this time with sound. And here's a little bit about the E4. so that was our little promo video for the Robo E4, and it highlighted just a few of my, favorite parts of that printer. So with both of our new printers, you're going to find that, the technology has stepped up a notch. So both of these machines are larger than their predecessors were. I'm going to try and adjust my camera here a little better so you can see. So this is the E3 compared to the E4. And you notice just by looking at it that this is a smaller printer. This one is still very portable. I can pick it up and move it around, but the build volume is almost 65% larger. Instead of being 6 inches cubed, this one is almost 9 inches cubed. So 220 millimeters cubed. So you can do really big prints with this machine. Likewise, down here, we've got our E4 Pro compared next to our Robo E3 Pro. So you can see it has a significantly taller build volume. It can actually go all the way up to 13 inches tall objects. And interestingly enough, the X and Y dimensions are also larger, but the amount of table space it takes up is less. So this machine is a little bit lighter, takes up a little less space in your classroom, but can actually print even bigger objects. Few things we've got with both of these new machines is the same features you know and love about Robo printers. So they both have the heated, flexible, removable build plate. So you can just come in here, and if you've got an object on the build plate, flex it to get it off. Now, if it's really small, like this very small little black pyramid I've just printed, you may still have to use a scraper to get it off. But you're going to find with these new machines that the tolerances, the level of detail and precision has just really improved a notch. So trying to get this in my camera here, but there's my tiny little itty bitty Chichen Itza here. It's about the size of my thumbnail if you see my hand next to it. Oh, and I realized the chat is hiding. Okay, perfect. Got that up again. So yeah, the precision, the level of detail you're going to get. If you've got our current printers, you're really going to be impressed with the quality of what we're getting. We already had really reliable printers, but now we're going to the next level with it. A few other of my favorite features, we still have our onboard camera. It's still fully enclosed. There's a HEPA filter, all of those nice, remote monitoring, remote printing, all of that stuff is still there. In every way, these printers are a step up. And some of my favorite new features are they both have power loss recovery. So if you have power outages that happen near your school and the printer gets powered off in the middle of a print for whatever reason, you can, when you plug it back in, it will ask, would you like to continue your print? And you can say, yes, I'd love to. And it will pick up where it left off. They also both have, filament run out detection, so you don't have to worry about a spool running out partway through. But on the filament front, these printers, like our previous ones, have open source filament, so you don't have to use our brand. But if you notice, the E4 has moved the filament to the outside of the machine. That way it doesn't trap you in as much to the 500-gram spools or weird attachments to fit larger spools on there. And the E4 Pro, the filament is on the inside, but it's a big enough holder area for the spools that you can fit just about any brand of filament in that space without any issues there. And then, so a few differences between the printers. The E4 has a few things that the E4 Pro doesn't have, so I do want to be upfront about some of the differences. The E4 is our high-speed 3D printer. It can go about 3 times as fast, up to 600 millimeters per second. Now, because it's larger and because it can do fancier materials, the E4 Pro doesn't have those same speed capabilities. It can do a lot more materials. It has really nice precision and tolerances and things like that, but it is going to print more of the speed that you might be used to. Still pretty quick, around 250 millimeters per second as a max print speed, but nothing like the high speed levels we get on the Robo E4. Also, with the smaller build volume compared to the E4 Pro, we were able to get fully automated calibration and leveling on this machine. So when you plug in your E4 for the first time, you are going to go through a series of steps that it just walks you through where it says, all right, what language would you like? English, please, for me. And then it will say, cool, I'm going to go through a process of leveling and calibration now. And it just does it. So you tell it to go, you walk away, you come back 7 minutes later, and your printer is ready to load filament and start printing, which is amazing. So if any of you have struggled with getting your printers to level or calibrate, you can understand why we love that feature so much. The E4 Pro, just due to its size, we did have to still have assisted leveling, but we have our sensors and everything that can help you get it tuned in just right, similar to what you would find on our current machines. So if anyone has questions on that, feel free to hit me with them in the chat. Okay, great. Chris says, what reason might you choose one over the other? I would say if you are doing a lot of engineering like challenges, not super high-tech engineering challenges, but like just a lot of design challenges with your students where they're building things all the time, you're probably going to want the high-speed one. But if you are doing like high school level, more intense engineering where you really need that precision, that tolerances, or some of those extra materials you see listed here, or you're simply just trying to build something larger format, that's where the E4 Pro comes in. So the E4 is going to be great for turning out prints quickly. You know, we have a lot of lesson plans, especially in K5, that are, you know, you want to print a whole set of manipulatives for each student, and that takes some time. So by speeding up the time to 3 times what you're used to, you're going to be able to just whip out manipulatives, whip out designs a lot faster on these smaller machines. But again, yeah, if you're looking for the larger format prints, if you're looking for some of these extra materials here, that's where the E4 Pro comes in. Great question. Thanks for asking. Okay. Any suggestions on how to keep the filament from drying out while stored after changing? Thank you, Jason. This is actually something I was going to bring up at the end of the session, but anytime you are not printing, so you've taken a spool out, it's open, I definitely recommend grabbing a Ziploc or generic zip seal bag and just storing your filament in there. Try and suck out as much air as you can from that bag and seal it up nice and tight. And if you have any desiccant packages that they came with, each spool of filament comes with a desiccant package, put it in there and seal it up with it. This is especially important over summer break. So make sure if you have filament loaded in any of your machines before breaking for summer, that you unload that filament and seal it up nice and tight. We find this is more important in humid places, but still a good, you know, rule of thumb, even in drier climates. I've also seen some third-party, you know, filament dehydrators. I've seen some people stick their filament in containers of rice or run a dehumidifier in their 3D printing lab. So there are some other ways you can also try to maintain your filament in that way, but I find a zip seal bag is a pretty solid solution for that as well. So now that I've shown you sort of this overview page, I am going to actually just pick up my laptop here and get you a little closer to this printer that is currently printing. You can see the speed in action. I know when I first saw this machine, my comment was, my goodness, I feel like I'm watching a time lapse. So I have gotten completely spoiled already by having this, you know, high speed 3D printer in my life. And I know any of you who have ordered this already, who know it's coming, are going to absolutely love that. Yes. So back to this announcement for anyone who came in late. We are trying to collect times for next year. I can remember what my next slide was. So please fill out this form with what times you are available for STEM Wednesdays next year. And I'm going to stop screen sharing for just a moment and instead share Robo Print. So Robo Print, many of you use right now to print on your E3s and E3 Pros, but we have a new version that's coming out later this month with the release of the new E4 and E4 Pro. And so I'm going to share that just so you can see some of the advanced features you're going to get in Robo Print, and some of the cool new things you can do there. So let me share that window. All right, so this is RoboPrint, and it looks pretty similar. You can still come in and load up models, bring in anything. I was doing some stuff with a human body earlier today, so I'll bring in, let's see, the heart. That's a nice little model. And so if I zoom in here, you can see that I'm working with a small model of the heart. Plugging my mouse back in. And this one I've already pre-built some supports into. But now, instead of having some buttons at the top, you're going to have them over on the side. You can still move your object around. You can have it be centered. If you were to move it vertically up off the build plate for whatever reason, you can have it drop back onto the platform. And one of the things I love about RoboPrint is if it's not on the build plate, it doesn't come in blue. When I click on platform, it shows it's blue, so I know what's touching the build plate, especially important with student designs. You can do scaling, you can rotate it, you can cut models in half just the same as you can with current RoboPrint using the cut feature. But some of the new ones are, we have a way to auto layout all the models. So if I have a whole bunch of these spaced around, they can sort of auto layout them for me, which is really nice. That way I don't have to figure out how to arrange all of my students' designs. I can just tell it to lay it all out for me. Oh, I've got another chat question. Is the software Apple compatible? Yes. So RoboPrint will work on your PCs and your Mac computers. This software does not work on Chromebooks. It does not work on iPads. For those devices, you would use our Robo Cloud, which isn't changing. That's the same as you've been used to with the cloud remote printing. RoboPrint is the only thing that's getting an update with these printers. Otherwise, it's all the same as what you're used to. Some other really cool features of the new RoboPrint are multi-machine control. So I can actually come in here and connect. It'll scan my network, find any of my computer or printers that are on the same Wi-Fi network as what my computer is on. And then I can connect to all of them and actually print to multiple printers at once from this multi-machine control menu. So that's really nice to be able to have. Are you able to use other slicer programs with these machines? If you put in the settings for them, you could, but we support RoboPrint. You can do Robo Cloud and Polar Cloud from the printers. You can, of course, run all of your MyStemKits prints. The machines are also compatible with OrcaPrint. I know some people use Cura. I think for that one, you'd have to set up your own print settings because we haven't done that in advance, but I know Cura can pretty much go with anything. The slicer settings you're going to run into in RoboPrint now they have much more capabilities, very similar to a Cura type slicer. So by default, we stick with these super basic ones, but you can go into expert mode, and now expert mode is way more detailed. So you're seeing, if I just scroll through some of these menus, just how many settings you can get into, fine tune and finesse whatever you want, including things like pausing at different layers if you're trying to do multicolor prints, where it will pause and wait for you to change filament at that layer. So there's a lot of different things you will now be able to control and adjust, or you can stick with basic mode if that's intimidating to you. Thanks for all the questions, everyone. This is great. The last thing I want to show is this software can also bring in some JPEG type things. So I'm just going to come in here and grab a picture. I don't know if you can see my pop-up right now, but I'm showing a graphic of the new printers, and I can tell it to come in as a plane, as a sphere, as a tube, all these different shapes, and it will actually bring it in and make it a 3D file based on the darkness or brightness of the model. So you can convert images, you can convert your students' drawings, their signatures, anything like that into a three-dimensional model right in RoboPrint. So with that, I'm going to finish up the official STEM Wednesday this week, but I will stick around for questions. I imagine many of you might have more questions about it. Just a reminder that these new 3D printers are part of the Mimeo STEM solution by Boxlight, which also includes our My STEM Kids curriculum platform and our LabDisc all-in-one science labs. So hope you join us next week. I'm going to be doing it again. I'm going to be talking about 3 really fun, easy LabDisc experiments you can do for summer. I've got all these different experiments around my house right now. You know, we're testing out sunglasses with different colors of cellophane to see which, and then using the LabDisc to test, you know, how it blocks the UV and the light, and, you know, building greenhouses and all sorts of really fun science programs you can do. So that'll be next week. I hope you can see, I will see you there. And there's the link there, bit.ly/STEM Wednesdays. It is case sensitive to sign up for that. And I see we've got a few hands raised. So now that we are at the end, let me stop sharing that or stop sharing my screen and open it up to questions. What is the highest temp the nozzle of the printer can go to? So that answer varies based on the 2 printers. Let me pull up the specs, but I believe the E4 is 280 and the E4 Pro is 320, but we've got that in our brochure, so I'm just gonna pull that up and double check my numbers. So yeah, that's why the E4 Pro can handle more materials. All right, let's see. Yep, E4 is 280 degrees Celsius, E4 Pro is 320 degrees Celsius. Chris says, I might have missed this, but when will the new printers be available? Yes, so these are in production right now. Our factory is whipping them out. We expect them to arrive at our warehouse for shipping right around the end of this month. So we should start shipping them at the very beginning of June. We are accepting pre-orders right now. So if you put in POs and things now, it will get you earlier on the shipping list for when these do arrive. Oh, you're welcome, everyone. Okay, I am not seeing any other questions come in, so hope you all have a great evening. Thanks for coming. Oh, never mind, I was too fast. All right. How much noise does stepper motors produce? So how much noise do these make? I have found the E4 Pro is a little quieter than the E4. Again, part of the speed thing makes this just a little louder, but because they are fully enclosed, they don't make that much noise. And I actually used the sound sensor on our LabDisc, just set it right next to the machines when they were printing, and they both came in with, you know, all my ambient noise, right around between 50 and 60 decibels. Part of that will depend on your, you know, table that you have them sitting on, the echoiness of your room. So you will notice them, but they're not too loud. They're definitely quieter than a lot of open air models that I've worked with in the past that don't have the full enclosure. So the full enclosure definitely helps reduce the sound a bit. Loving all the questions. All right, I'm going to sign off. If you have any questions, you can email me at hannah.olson@boxlight.com. Yes, they both have a filament runout sensor built right in, so it will automatically pause if your spool of filament runs out.